This silent infinite build is one of the easiest to put together in Slay the Spire 2, thanks to how easy the cards are to find, the fact it doesn't require any relics, and how much smoother it makes the early game. The idea behind the deck is very simple. Everything revolves around Speedster upgraded, which deals 3 damage every time you draw a card, so the entire goal is to stack as many ways to draw and discard cards as possible, and the more cards you cycle through, the more times Speedster is going to trigger. Once the deck gets going, you're going to constantly draw, discard and trigger Speedster over and over again, and that's where the infinite aspect comes in. If the loop is running properly, you can keep the cycle going as long as you need, so you can stack enough damage from Speedster to eventually kill any boss. One of the best parts about this build is that you don't need any relics to make it work, it's entirely card based. Another big advantage is that you don't need to keep your deck extremely small. Compared to some of the other infinite builds I've covered, like the Hellraiser Auto Battler, you have a lot more freedom early on to pick up more useful cards without ruining your deck. Another key card is Tactician upgraded, which is essential for the energy generation once it's discarded, and you'll be mainly discarding it with Acrobatics upgraded, which draws 4 cards and gives you the discard you need to trigger Tactician, and the combination is what really helps keep the engine running. Other cards that work well in this build are things like Backflip, Prepared, and Reflex, since they either add more draw, more discard, or help keep the cycle going. Any cards that support the draw discard loop can fit nicely into this deck too. When playing the deck, Speedster is your main damage source, so you usually want to play it as early as possible in the fight, or draw until you find it. And once it's active, the goal is simple: to cycle through your draw cards repeatedly, use your draw and discard tools to keep the deck moving and triggering Speedster over and over. Make sure you're discarding Tactician and Reflex whenever possible, so you get the extra energy and draw they provide, and those extra resources are what allow the deck to keep looping. And don't forget to let me know in the comments if you've tried builds like this before, or if you find any other ways to make it work, and if you want to see more builds like this, consider subscribing and feel free to check out some of the other guides on the channel as well.